Origin Gens, welcome to UX, and this is Iran's fleet runs the blockade. In quotation mark, Trump wipes it off the map. Physically, he went there. Okay, I know what he means. This is my channel, Business Basics. I watched a few videos from this channel. I don't know why this name. It's a military channel, I'm pretty sure. What does business have to do with? I don't know. But yeah, this is, I guess, a day ago. So I guess things are happening right now. Iran tried to run the blockade and they destroyed tankers or something. Like, that's what I'm getting from this title. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Let's do this one.
War is now restarting in the Strait of Hormuz. Just this morning, Iranian ships tried to break the US blockade and they failed horribly. US jets took out the ship so they cannot even move anymore, and now Iranian officials are crying that, hey, US is trying to derail the negotiations. US military this morning carried out more airstrikes, hitting several empty tankers trying to break the US blockade. Now this comes on top of attacks that took place yesterday, where US wiped out Iranian missile depots and Iranian drone depots that were situated on the coast of the Strait of Hormuz. So before we get into what happened this morning, let's quickly look at what took place last night. Here on the map, you can see all the regions that the United States targeted yesterday. This includes Bandar Abbas port, which is a very important port, Qasem Island, which is an island that Iran has been using to basically monitor what goes on in the Strait of Hormuz. Then of course we have Bandar Kargan and Garuk. According to the official statement, American strikes on Thursday hit Iranian drone launch sites as well as coastal defense cruise missile sites and radars. In fact, initially, US had no plans to do all this because they were respecting the ceasefire. But when US warships got close to the Strait of Hormuz, Iran started launching missiles, drones, and small boats at the warships. This is when US responded and they carried out defensive strikes so Iran cannot attack other ships and other US warships in the future. Here's Secretary of State Marco Rubio explaining why these strikes were necessary. Take a listen.
Well, yes, but the point is, if there's not much seizing in the firing, because we
well, you should ask that of the Iranians. Don't ask me. We didn't fire. They fired on us. My point is, if you fire at a U.S. Navy ship, what are we supposed to do? Say, oh, there's a ceasefire. We're not going to shoot down your drone. That's a stupid question. That's a stupid position to take. Of course we fired back at them. They were shooting at us. That's what I would expect to do. Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at, and we're not a stupid country.
Do you expect that there, or have you conveyed any red lines to Iran where, you know, if the ceasefire or whatever you call it, if they cross...
Well, the red line is clear. If they threaten Americans, they're going to get blown up. I mean, that's how much clearer can you be than that? If you fire on, if you are a missile launching guy, whatever they call that job, and you're sitting there and you fire a missile at the United States and we saw you fire it, we're going to hit you. Of course we are. Who doesn't do that? Unless you want to get your ship sunk. I mean, we're not going to let our...
I like how he's like, if you punch me, I'm going to punch you back. Oh, word? Oh, that's... It's like, yeah, I mean, if you shoot at the US ships, they're going to shoot you down. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. Can this be more clear?
Ships get sunk by the Iranians with their little, their drones that they're firing. They don't have a navy anymore. But they bring out these little Boston whaler fishing boats and they try to swarm you. We're going to blow those boats up if they're coming towards our boats. I don't know if that's a red line, but I hope they know it is by now. So if I were one of these Iranians on a fast boat and they tell you, hey, your mission is to go after a US destroyer, you're probably not going to survive. I think that's a red line.
Now, the funniest part of this whole situation is that all this time, Iranian politicians have been saying that, hey, we don't want to negotiate. We're winning this war. We don't want to negotiate. We're winning this war. And as soon as the United States attacks their whatever they don't have a navy. They have small boats, as Marco Rubio just said, and they have some drone sites and launch sites. And now, as soon as the US attacks Iranian sites, Iranians are like, hey, guys, I thought we were negotiating. Why are you attacking us during negotiations? This is exactly what happened with the Iranian foreign minister's statement that came out right after this attack. Take a look. Every time a diplomatic solution is on the table, the US opts for a reckless military adventure. Is it a crude pressure tactic or the result of a spoiler once again duping president into another quagmire? Whatever the cause is, outcome is the same. Iranians never bow to pressure. He also goes on to say in this image that he posted with the statement,
isn't you the one who always said there is no ceasefire, and then after ceasefire still launching at like Middle Eastern countries like UAE and others? it's still like shooting at like Indian ships and many other cargo ships that trying to pass it, while you are supposedly with the peace talk and have a ceasefire, which you say we are not under any ceasefire. You can't run around in circle like that. You can't say like there is no ceasefire, we're still gonna attack, we're still gonna collect tax, and when the US attacks, oh my god, oh my god, US is breaking the ceasefire, US breaking is the peace deal. Like, you can't have both ways.
The CIA is wrong. Our missile inventory and launcher capacity are not at 75% compared to February 28. The correct figure is at 120%. As for
Yeah, it just increased 20%. What you talking about, CIA? The hell you talking about? It's 1000% readiness. It's like we're ready, I guess now. But 2 months ago, they were not ready. That's what this implies. Now it's 1000%. And by the way, inventory went up 20%. It's like they suddenly build factories and just increasing production. The hell you talking about? Obviously, 120%.
For our readiness to defend our people, it's at 1000%. Now, I'm not sure what their missile capacity is. I'm sure intelligence people have a lot more knowledge than, a random YouTuber. But my question is simple. If Iran's capacity is at 120%, meaning they have more missiles now than when the war started, why was Iran slowing down on missile launches at the end of the war? Why were they saving missiles if their capacity was increasing every single day? So this is simple. The words that are coming out.
It's not physically possible. If you started with 100% and then you launched a lot of missiles and now you have 120%, implies you exponentially increase factories somehow in matter of 1 month. How?
From Iranian statements are not matching the actions that they were carrying out during the war. And personally speaking, I put less of a weight on what the Iranians are saying and more on what they are doing. Then after the statement last night, we also had Iranians attacking the UAE once again. This is the second time or maybe the third time Iran has attacked the UAE since the ceasefire has begun. Luckily, all the missiles and drones that Iran fired were taken down, but the debris did end up injuring 3 people according to the UAE Defense Ministry. They also point out that since the war began, UAE air defenses have intercepted roughly 500 ballistic missiles, 30 cruise missiles, and over 2,200.
It is insane that you see these big skyscrapers. Is that Burj Khalifa? That's probably is, right? Like, I don't know. And like, what if one of them hits Burj Khalifa, like the tallest building? It's basically an icon by this point. Burj Khalifa is an icon. What if that damages? That's just like, attack on Dubai is just weird, right? Like, you hear about Dubai all the time, but you never think about like, yeah, Dubai might come under attack because it's Middle East.
Drones, resulting in more than 200 injuries. On the flip side of this, US air defenses are holding up really good. You know how we know this? Well, every country in the Gulf is buying these air defenses at a record pace. Take a look at this. Secretary of State Marco Rubio just approved $25 billion in emergency weapon sales to Bahrain, Israel, Kuwait, Qatar, and the UAE, triple the $8.6 billion initially disclosed. The package includes large number of Patriot missile interceptors, though delivery could take years due to limited US production capacity. There's more demand for.
Why only Patriot though? Like, you need 2-3 defense structures. You can't just use one and do the job. It's like a lot of these countries like Iran and Venezuela, it's like we have S-300, we have S-400. Yeah, those alone can't do anything. You need multiple layers to this. Israel has multiple layers to this, right? Like David Sling and like Iron Dome and multiple of them. So why are you just setting Patriot to like Qatar and Israel? Shouldn't you sell something like THAAD and many other layer system as well? Because Patriot can do few jobs good, but you need the whole system, right? So why not THAAD and many other things the USA have? And of course, like demand is high. Like USA is literally where the technology gets made, and somehow every other country gets like countries like China like somehow gets the technology and they make their own. Technology starts in United States. So of course this country wants US tech. That's just common sense.
For this, then we have the actual supply. For Iran, on the other hand, the bad news just doesn't stop. Take a look at what the Central Command just put out this morning. There are currently more than 70 tankers that US forces are preventing from entering or leaving Iranian ports. These commercial ships have capacity to transport over 166 million barrels of Iranian oil worth an estimated $13 billion. Because of the US blockade, Iran is missing out on billions of dollars in oil revenue that it so desperately needs.
For Iran, 13 billion is a big number, right? I mean, 13 billion is kind of big number for anyone, but for Iran is like really big number. Like that will hurt.
It's at a time like this. And of course, on top of the money, another thing Iran needs is more oil storing capacity. So they want some of these empty tankers that are in the international waters to come back to Iranian ports so Iran can use them as a floating oil depot, meaning they can load up the oil on these tankers and let it sit. This gives Iran more breathing room and they don't have to shut in their oil fields if they can just get more storage. Otherwise, if they do have to shut in the oil fields, that means they can lose out on a lot of money and a lot of oil revenue in the future. Well, guess what? The US blockade is also going after this specific situation. Just this morning.
Okay, what do you mean lose out the money in the future? Once you shut off the field, is it really hard to turn it back up? I generally don't know about this because why is it better to like store it in a like cargo ships, but it's bad to shut it off? I'm guessing there's more to it. Like if you shut it off, it's really hard to like turn back on again and many other layers to it, I'm guessing.
Morning, two tankers were trying to get back into Iranian ports so they can load up on oil. But unfortunately, they were not able to get past the US blockade. Take a look at this statement. US forces disabled mortar tanker Sea Star 3 and mortar tanker Savida on May 8th, prior to both vessels entering an Iranian port on the Gulf of Oman in violation of the ongoing US blockade. Central Command enforced blockade measures against two Iranian-flagged, unladen oil tankers attempting to pull into Iranian port. A US Navy F-18 Super Hornet from USS George H.W. Bush.
The Bush is finally there and working, apparently. That's something, right? So it's not from the Lincoln. No, it's from the Bush this time.
Disabled both tankers after firing precision munitions into their smokestacks, preventing non-compliant ships from entering Iran. In fact, I think this is the footage that they released that you guys are seeing on your screen. And on top of that, US forces also disabled Iranian-flagged mortar tanker Hassana on May 6th as it attempted to sail to an Iranian port in the Gulf of Oman. And
that says Hasna, not Hassana.
Again, they used F-18 Super Hornet from USS Abraham Lincoln, disabling the unladen oil tanker's routers by firing several rounds from a 20mm cannon gun. All three vessels are no longer transiting to Iran. For the Iranian regime,
or I like how they're like, oh, wait a minute, like we're not going from Iran to out, like we're going towards Iran. We're not bringing any oil, so blockade doesn't really apply to us, and US is destroyed. And we're like, what would you think, are stupid? You think we don't understand the whole setup? Shut the hell up, get out of here.
This is a major issue because they need the tankers to come back, even if they're empty, so they can load up the oil. And it seems the situation is getting so desperate inside of the country that they're resorting to just dumping oil in the ocean. We have some evidence of this already happening. But before we look at that, just a quick reminder.
Oh, that hurts, man. Oil is very finite amount everywhere. And seeing it being wasted like that, like, oh, that does hurt.
For everyone to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It truly does make a difference as to how many people watch this video, and that helps us out tremendously. Now let's look at this satellite imagery. Suspected major oil spill detected near Iran's Karg Island export hub, according to satellite imagery reviewed by Reuters. Researchers say that the slick covered roughly 45 square kilometers west of Karg Island, the terminal that handles about 90% of Iranian oil exports. The cause remains unknown as tensions continue in the Gulf amid clashes between US and Iranian forces and ongoing naval blockades. Now, I'm not an oil expert at all, and I'm not sure if this was a mistake or deliberate. Only thing I know is Iran is getting very close to running out of storage, and they need some kind of way to,
Okay, what did China do? Did they find alternative? Because China needs the oil, is it? Don't they? I'm surprised China is not increasing pressure on Iran to make a deal, because they are the one who's like also getting hit really hard, right? They can't really pressure USA because it's USA. USA will just say, "What? Who asked you?" So it's surprised China is not doing something like pressuring Iran, like, I'll have to find another buyer, and in the future I might not buy from you again if you don't reach a deal or something like that. Like, China is in unique position to pressure Iran, so some deal is being made. Because otherwise I don't see it, man. Because after all the level of destruction, all the level of target that's being hit, and did happen in the past, Iran is still not backing down. So it's like China is the only thing that's left. In China pressuring Iran is the only way some deal might get made. I don't know.
Dispel that pressure. They need some kind of way to let go of that pressure. And now we are seeing this. Again, just to be the counter to my own argument, there has been a lot of fighting going on in the Strait of Hormuz, so this could clearly be a mistake. Only time will tell what this is. If we continue seeing more and more oil in the ocean, I think we can safely say that this wasn't a mistake. This may be a new strategy for Iran, just so they don't have to shut off their oil fields. Now, to fight back against all this, Iran has tried attacking or even seizing ships in the Strait of Hormuz or in the Persian.
Strategy is a very, let's just say, lenient word. Because if you're annoyed and you punch yourself in the face, that's not really strategy to calm yourself down. You're having a panic attack. If you have to dump oil in the ocean because you don't know where to put it there, yeah, that's not much of a strategy.
Persian Gulf. But unfortunately, even that is not going according to plan. Yesterday, Iran attacked an oil tanker that turned out to be a Chinese oil tanker. And now today, China is very mad about this. Take a look at their statement. China said its nationals were among the crew of an oil tanker attacked the...
I like how he said China and suddenly showed Xi Jinping. And Xi Jinping was like, what the have you lost a damn mind? You gonna attack us? Do you want, like, you made everyone in Middle East your enemy. USA is already your enemy, right? India is already pro-Israel because all the weaponry in India comes from Israel. China and Russia is the only thing that's left. Now you're making us the enemy?
This week near the Strait of Hormuz. Foreign Ministry spokesperson said that the Chinese crew were on board the vessel struck by Iran on Monday. As of now, no casualties among the crew have been reported. Beijing warned that the escalating hostilities between Iran and the United States are disrupting one of the most critical maritime corridors. China is deeply concerned that a large number of vessels and crew members have been stranded in the strait for months. And guess what? This morning, the situation became even worse. Iranian Navy just seized a Chinese-owned oil tanker in the Sea of Oman. According to Iranian media, which posted a video of this whole operation, by the way, the oil tanker seized was called Ocean Koi. This vessel was actually carrying Iranian oil when it was seized by Iranian Navy, and on top of that, it is owned by a Shanghai-based Ocean Kudos shipping company, which has actually been sanctioned by the United States. So I have no...
So I was right, and I'm guessing others as well, that Iran has no central government. Because it's fractured. One says one thing, other says completely another. When foreign minister says Strait of Hormuz is open, others shoot at the ship saying, I don't care, an idiot on Twitter, whatever he said, we'll only listen to the supreme leader. So there are literal fractures inside Iranian government. How do you seize the tanker that was carrying oil from you that was going to your biggest ally and partner, China? There is a fractures inside Iran, which makes sense. The level of destruction USA did to Iran would leave out fractures like that, which is concerning. If you have too much fracture, but there is no leadership, how are you going to get any deal? Because the one you make deal with, the other guy would say, that wasn't me, so that deal don't count. Who do you make deal with?
Clue what's going on. I don't understand if this is just Iran trying to act tough by just sanctioning one of their own tankers, or there's something else happening that we don't know about. But what Iran is doing is positive for the United States. They're seizing a sanctioned tanker that's owned by a Chinese company and a tanker that's carrying Iranian oil. So very fishy stuff, but not sure.
Do you know how stupid that is? Imagine this. a tanker was docked in Iranian dock, filled up with Iranian oil, and as it left, same Iranian went there like, you seized. What? Is this theater? You're pretending now? Let's stage up an arrest. Is that what that was? Because it was in your port, filling up with your oil. As soon as it left the port, your own people went there, like seized it back. Maybe you should have just called. They would have turned back anyway because they were already in your port. Like,
what's going on. As of right now, to me, this just seems like Iran flexing fake muscles by seizing one of their own ships just to tell or just to, give a message to other tankers and other cargo ships that, hey, don't go through the Strait of Hormuz. Otherwise, we can take over your ship just like we did with this ship. This is the Iranian way of telling everyone that, hey, the Strait of Hormuz is under Iranian control. It's under Iranian sovereignty. It's part of their territory. When in reality...
Yeah, we're in control. Don't look at those giants that stand there with destroyers and aircraft carriers. The most powerful country and navy. Ignore them. We are the one in control. Don't look at the horizon. Like, ignore those things.
That's not something other countries in the world, not just the United States, other European countries, and of course other Asian countries are willing to accept. Take a listen to Secretary of State Marco Rubio talking about this.
And I don't understand why anybody would not be supportive of that. And he doesn't understand it, rightfully so. Somebody would be supportive of that. But here's a more fundamental problem. Iran now claims that they have a right to control an international waterway. They claim that they have a right to control it. What is the world going to do about that? Is the world going to accept that Iran now controls an international waterway? Because if the world is prepared to accept that, then be ready. Because there's like 10 other countries that are going to start doing the same thing in their international waterways, or in international waterways near their countries. That's
You know what? India should control anything that goes into Indian Ocean, which is most of the things. It's in the name, Indian Ocean. India takes a tax. Why not? Let's just do that. Why not? You know what? The United States should tax Atlantic and Pacific because they're on the both sides and they are the most powerful navy there. It's ours now. Trump already renamed Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. Rename Atlantic and Pacific as like East and West America or something. I don't know. East American Ocean and West American Ocean. Why not? Screw it. Start like the biggest guy with the muscle should do everything. That's what's going to happen in the future, right? Screw the small countries. What are you even talking about? That's just insane to me. Like, yeah, okay, we're doing this now. No, you can't just change things like that. If you piss off everyone, you can't fight everyone. Do you understand that? I don't understand. Like, why is Iran not getting this? Like, if you tax Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of oil goes from there, you're probably pissing off most of the major countries, a lot of your allies. How are you going to fight all of them?
an unacceptable thing that they're trying to normalize. So if the answer is no, we don't think Iran should be able to control the Straits of Hormuz, then the next question is going to be for everyone, well, what are you going to do about it?
Now, to understand why Iran is behaving the way...
I think the most of the Europe and world basically thinks like you did this, United States, so solve it type of way, because they still have that mentality. Your own media, left-wing media says that like you created this and you should solve it type of way. It's like your own people in your own country says that, like, which is insane to me. You want to criticize your government, great. But you really have to ask things like, when is it I'm hurting my own country? Regardless of whether I'm in left or whether I'm in right, when is it when something is happening and I'm point blank hurting my country? Like, you really need to ask that. Like, because I saw, like, I don't know, with some news channel, which is it a channel or is it just a YouTube thing? But it's big enough. I forgot the name. Who was literally saying, like, Iran hit a lot of military sites and US military ports. These are American people living in America, journalists from America saying this. I'm like, your own military, your own intelligence, not to mention Five Eyes, which includes Europe and many other countries, says that's not true. These are only Iranian claims. I'm pretty sure not even China is backing that. But you're going to claim that this actually happened. Anonymous source. It's great. Let's say anonymous source and you can just walk away.
It's behaving right now, we have to go back and look at how Iran got to where it is today. That doesn't just mean going back to 1979 when the Islamic Revolution took place. In fact, we have to go further back to when the Qajar dynasty was ruling Iran in the 19th century and look at how the decisions the ruling class made back then still affects Iran to this very day. Well, guess what? That's exactly what we're doing in our multi-part.
Can you go that far back just to understand? Because this Islamic revolution that happened a few decades ago changed country and how it thinks drastically, and changed how leadership thinks and acts drastically. Prince ran away, right? Suddenly all the weaponries get stuck because you suddenly changed your allies just because of your ideology. United States was your military partner. Now it became your enemy. You have F-16s and things. F-16s? No, wait a minute. F-14s and things. But suddenly now America is your enemy. So things drastically changed a few decades ago. Can you really go that far back just to see how IRGC is thinking and working? I mean, I don't know. There you go. All right, well, Iran's fleet runs the blockade. Trump's wipe it off the map. That's how YouTube algorithm works. I understand. This is my channel, Business Basics. 2 million subscribers. It's a big channel. If you like my channel, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.